He's told them there's two things. All the hostages have to come out, and they have to disarm. They don't have a future in Gaza. He's been clear, and he's been consistent. And if they don't believe him by now, they never will. But I think that with the help of the Egyptians, the Turks, and the Qataris, everyone has been at the table trying to say to Hamas, this is it. You don't have another chance. And don't mess with President Trump because he's not playing with you. And I think they finally have taken it to heart.
And that's U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee with me earlier in this program, telling me Hamas will release all of the remaining hostages as Israel and Hamas have agreed to phase one of President Trump's historic peace proposal to effectively end the war. 48 hostages are still held in captivity in Gaza, 20 of whom are still thought to be alive. All of this playing out in real time, and the hostages could be released as soon as Saturday. President Trump said last night he expects them to be home by Monday. Joining me now is Texas Congressman August Pfluger. He is the chairman of the Republican Study Committee. Mr. Chairman, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And the ambassador also told me that there will be a military presence remaining in Gaza, but not the U.S. military. I want to get your take on all of this, your reaction.
Well, Maria, this is obviously historic. I mean, you know, there's only one leader in the world that could have orchestrated that deal. It's Donald Trump. You know, he brings together world leaders. He puts this negotiation into place. It's very similar to what he did with the Abraham Accords. It's obviously this is a very important phase of the deal right now. It's a trust but verify phase. The hostages do need to be released. We do need to see trust built up. And specifically by Hamas. I mean, with those hostages, dead or alive, they need to be released back into Israel. And Israel needs to see that they are going to start by honoring their word. But let me just make this point right now. While Democrats are in full meltdown mode, Donald Trump, the president of the United States, is still busy working on behalf of the American people. He's still busy orchestrating a peace deal that no other leader could have orchestrated. This is absolutely incredible. We've been waiting for this moment. Israel benefits. The entire region benefits, and the security of the United States benefits, but it wouldn't have been possible without Donald Trump's actions inside Iran that set the conditions to allow this to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's pretty stark when you look at what President Trump has been working on, while your colleagues on the left have been demanding changes, or they won't go back to work. They won't open up the government. Look, I'm going to get to that in a moment, but Congressman, you flew combat missions over Syria and Iraq. Thank you for your service to this country. Mike Huckabee just told me that there will be no military, no U.S. military, and that Syria and Lebanon can be the first partners of the Abraham Accords. He's expecting the Abraham Accords to once again take flight after we saw President Trump put that in place in his first term. What are you expecting? Would you expect Syria to join the Abraham Accords? That would be huge.
Well, it's an important moment for Syria. You're right. I flew combat missions there. Bashar al-Assad was a domestic terrorist who killed his own citizens. We have a new president in Syria. There's a new moment for Lebanon. They need to take these important steps. Let's join the world community and be a good partner and show that in good faith you can actually help the solution and not be a part of the problem. I mean, they have to denounce terrorism. I mean, that is the first most important step, and they have to build the trust with Israel. I think this is a moment that we'll look back on 50, 60, 70 years from now and go, wow, the president of the United States orchestrated this, and he did so with states like Lebanon, with states like Syria, who had chosen a terrorist path previously and now have come off that. So again, it's a trust but verify situation, but there's only one leader who could have done this.
Well, I mean, you've got to wonder what your colleagues on the left are saying at this point in terms of President Trump's work in bringing peace to the Middle East and the trust that he has from so many in the Middle East, and that's the only way that he could have gotten that done. You're entering day 9 of a government shutdown. I mean, these fights that you're having over, subsidies for Obamacare seem real small in the face of what we are talking about in terms of peace in the Middle East. So what can you tell us about tensions rising on Capitol Hill? House Speaker Mike Johnson faced off with 2 Democrat senators from Arizona outside of his office yesterday. And then there was another heated moment where New York Congressman Mike Lawler confronted House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries over the Obamacare subsidies yesterday. Watch this.
Don't sit here and try to lecture us about whether or not we did our job. We did our job. You did not.
Well, you're not doing your job right now.
Oh, you mean the bill that I'm signed on to extend it? Oh, yeah, cute, right. Because you know what? We actually have put forth legislation to do it. You guys just keep pontificating.
You're holding the American people hostage because you want to have a policy debate.
Yes,
we have policy debates here every day.
There's no policy debate when nobody's there. You're talking to yourself.
Hello,
and this
I'm
guy
here.
You're not going to talk. You're not going to talk to me.
Wasted.
You're not going to talk to me and talk over me
non-New York residents
because you don't want to
getting
hear what I have to say.
Oh, I'm listening.
So why
Go
don't you
ahead.
just keep your mouth shut?
Wow, it looked like Hakeem Jeffries was ready to throw a punch there.
Well, you know, unfortunately, House Democrats, Senate Democrats are all about a viral moment. That's all they want right now. Again, going back to President Trump is still working for the American people by getting this peace deal done in the Middle East. But we've done our job. I mean, House Republicans weeks ago passed a continuing resolution to pay our military to make sure that our Border Patrol and other federal agencies were funded and receiving a paycheck. Senate Democrats have voted 6 times to defund those agencies. It's a clean resolution. It's the exact same resolution that President Biden and the funding levels that President Biden signed into law. So it really is petty. And again, it just kind of shows you where their mind is in full meltdown mode compared to Republicans that really want to go back and get things done. I mean, they're standing in the way of the continued progress. And one has to think and wonder, is that their goal? They just want to stop Donald Trump's progress. They want to stop the Republican Party from the advances that we've made to get our country back on track and have a prosperous economy and a more secure country.
Well, it certainly feels like Senate Democrats are blocking Republicans' bid to reopen the government now for a 6th time yesterday. But you've got another vote today. Do you believe that this work that President Trump has done on a peace plan in Israel, the fact that we are actually going to see all of the hostages released, do you think that's going to move any of your colleagues on the left? Because you've got already 2 Democrats that voted to keep the government open. One of them was John Fetterman from Pennsylvania, and I spoke with him right before government shutdown. Here's what he said. Watch.
It is always, always wrong to shut our government down. That is a core responsibility. I'm always going to vote against those things. And if it's the Republican side or now it's our side, especially with the kinds of chaos that we are facing after Kirk, and now there's a Cat 5 storm that might hit our nation too. Now, and you're willing to threaten us down. I was the only Democrat voting against that. And now that CR was the same CR from the Biden administration as well, too.
Right.
For me, I'm a big believer of if you want to change the policies, win elections. And that's really the way democracy works.
So what do you think, Congressman, this peace plan in the Middle East where the hostages will be released, where Hamas is going to disarm? Senate Majority Leader John Thune needs 5 more Democrats. You think this could be one movement to get them moving, to come to your side?
Well, you wonder what that tipping point is going to be for them to have a reality check, to do the right thing and put the people of the American public over their petty politics. But I really don't have a lot of faith that they're going to do the right thing. There are national security issues that are out there. You know, when you think about the military, I talked to some commanders yesterday that are in charge of 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 troops and airmen. And their worry right now is not the national security issues that they should be focused on. It's whether or not they can make sure that their young enlisted troops actually have the resources they need to make it through the month. So they're completely focused on that instead of the issues that they should be focused on, which is protecting the United States and securing our borders and making sure that the threats that we face around the world can be deterred and defeated.
Yeah, it's a good point because the military will likely miss the paycheck on October 15th. The military salary payment, and then on October 20th, we'll likely see the first missed federal worker payment. So I was going to ask you, when does this government shutdown become a national security issue? Sounds like it is right now.
It absolutely is right now. Every single day that goes on, that threat rises because guess what? Our enemies, they're not stopping. They don't care about the funding of our government. They're continuing on with their plans. We need to be vigilant, and Democrats are standing in the way of that.
Congressman, thank you. We'll be watching you work on this, of course. We appreciate you joining us. Congressman August Pfluger. Stay with us. We'll be right back.